Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, My Legion Adventures. And we are up to Adventure Comics 313. We had a little segue into Jimmy Olsen land, but we're back to Adventure Comics, but it's a little different this time. Okay, Adventure Comics 313, October 1963 cover date. Cover credits, Curt Swan, George Klein, Irish Nap. And it is the first story, the main story of the book. It gets the cover. It's a beautiful Curt Swan cover with Superboy, Lightning Lad, Sunboy, and Chameleon Boy saying goodbye to sick Legionnaires and one substitute Legionnaire, Lightning Lass, Triplicate Girl, Saturn Girl, Shrinking Violet, and Night Girl from the Legion of Substitute Heroes. And Superboy, Saturn Girl is saying, "Superboy, we've all become victims of the Crimson Virus. Can you save us?" And Superboys respond, "I'm sorry, Saturn Girl, but all the girl members of the Legion are doomed. You must spend your last days on Quarantine World." And then it says, featuring Night Girl, Phantom Girl, Lightning Lass, Triplicate Girl, Shrinking Violet, and Saturn Girl in The Condemned Legionnaires. So it's Condemned Legionnaires. That's the title of the story. It is a 16-page. Part 1 is called The Condemned Legionnaires, and Part 2 is called The Secret of Satan Girl. Credits, as usual, editor, plotter, Mort Weisinger, plotter, scripter, Edmond Hamilton. Little change up on the art for this issue. Curt Swan is penciler, inkers, George Klein and Sheldon Moldoff. Sheldon Moldoff only does part 2. Letterish Middle Shadows. And roll call is Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Phantom Girl, Chameleon Boy, Supergirl, Brainiac 5, Shrinking Violet, Superboy, Sunboy, Bouncing Boy, Monel, Lightning Lass, Triplicate Girl, and Colossal Boy, with guest appearances by Polar Boy and Night Girl from the Legion of Substitute Heroes, Beepo, the Super Monkey, Comet, the Super Horse, Crypto, the Super Dog, Streaky, the Super Cat, and the main villain is Saturn Girl. I'm going to do the synopsis, and then I'll read some of the little trivia here, and then I'll give you my opinion of it. When a mysterious crimson plague strikes the female Legionnaires, as well as Legion of Substitute Night Girl, they are exiled to Quarantine World until such a time as their teammates can find a cure. When a superpowered villainess calling herself Satan Girl appears to battle the Legion and take credit for the sickness, Supergirl is asked to take care of her and discover her identity, while the male Legionnaires look after the quarantined females. Unable to defeat their foes, Supergirl and the others try to hide the girls from her, but to no avail. It is only with the help of the Legion of Super Pets that the heroes are finally able to subdue and unmask Saturn Girl, who turns out to be an evil double of Supergirl. Beaten, she explains that on her way to the Legion, the real Supergirl encountered a piece of red kryptonite, and that first created the evil double and then erased Supergirl's memory of the incident. Taking the identity of Satan Girl, the masked doppelganger tried to siphon off the red kryptonite radiation into the bodies of the female Legionnaires before it wore off, thus preserving her existence. When the effect finally does wear off, Saturn Girl is absorbed back into Supergirl's body, and the girls recover. So a couple little comments. Legion of Super Pets were last seen in 293. Appears next in Superman Story in Action 309. Ultra Boy erroneously shown as unable to see through lead. Oops. While Superboy is able to melt it. In this story, Element Lad, Invisible Kid, Mattery Lad, Sunboy, Ultra Boy do not appear in this story. This is a classic. I read it probably in one of those Adventure Comic Digests when they were doing all the Legion stuff in order, or maybe in a 100-page giant. I'd have to go look at some of the 100-page giants. I own a bunch of the Legion ones and Justice League ones because those are just some of my favorite comics. But let me talk to you about this one. One, the art is stunning. It is Curt Swan doing Superman and Legion. He is the greatest Superman artist of all time, in my opinion. He is in... if I was going to give you the 5 greatest artists, my opinion, in Legion, it would be Keith Giffen, Dave Cockrum, Curt Swan, Mike Grell, and I'm going to say John Forte. I'm going to put John Forte in my top 5. Just because of just his how much he did for Legion. But those are my 5 greats. In no particular order, because that would be stupid, and I would make an ass of myself. But I like this comic. First page is, it's kind of like this. The splash page is like another mini cover because it's not part of the story. Let me read the caption for part 1. From out of the unknown comes a mysterious doom that strikes only at the girl members of the Legion of Superheroes. And when Supergirl leads the remaining Legionnaires in a fight to preserve their lives, she finds herself facing the most mysterious and mightiest foe of her career. Here is the saga of the Girl of Steel's struggle to save the condemned Legionnaires. And, in this page, it's got a rocket ship coming. Satan Girl is killing the Legionnaires. The Legionnaires, female Legionnaires, they have red skin and they're all in wheelchairs. But it's a great, page 2, which is the first one, it just slowly, it's like you see lightning last. And you get to see her. She hasn't been used much since her intro and her grieving her brother. But here she is in action for 2 panels. And you just see all the female Legionnaires going down. And it's just beautiful art. Night Girl goes to help and she catches it. I love the design of Satan Girl. I always liked it. They reference this back in other stories, like the costumes in their trophy room and stuff like that. And I know it all from that. But it's good to see it in action. And just, Curt Swan is one of the greatest comic artists of all time. This book is just so beautiful. It is so perfectly drawn. The proportions. Every character has their own appearance. And if you've ever seen it, and I think I posted it, that if you could Google it, that his character sketches that he used as guides are out on the internet, and they're stunning. And it made sure that every time he drew them, they looked alike. They all had a unique look, a unique face, a unique haircut. Everything is just perfectly pristine. I like George Klein's art on him. I've heard that he didn't, but I'm a fan of Klein. I like him on John B. He did some stuff for John Buscema on Avengers too. But just, I'm not a big Supergirl fan. So this one is like, this is just this is part of the Legion of Super Tales, the Legion of Superhero Stories. It's just the first Supergirl-centric one. And I don't know how many more Supergirl-centric ones they are. But it's great. It shows them battling. On page 6, there's this great, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just 6 panels of them fighting. And the fight starts on the previous page. But it's a lot of action. He does a lot of stuff with showing multiple of them flying around fighting in one panel. The space stuff is great. The future scientist guy's got like a white, the cliche white things that pharmacists and doctors wore with the stiff collars, but it's somewhat futuristic. And it's good that and the first 8 pages are just great. Now I'm going to read you, we're up to part 2, which is, here's the caption for the mini splash page, which has the Legion of Super Pets coming to save. It's in the terrific struggle in the most terrific struggle of her career. Supergirl battles the mighty Satan Girl across half the universe in a valiant attempt to save her comrades. The Girl Legionnaires, and the most staggering surprise the Girl of Steel has ever experienced comes when she exposes the secret of Satan Girl. And it's got a little mini splash page on the top of page 9, which it's got Comet, Streaky, Beepo, and Crypto coming to the rescue of Supergirl. But Supergirl, she's failed, but she's come back and said, we need to hide them, and they fly off in their rocket. And it's very rockety. It's definitely a 1950s. There's still a little bit of a 50s feel to their rockets and the future stuff, even though we're in the early 60s. But they're these little like crazy space Pac-Mans, fuzzy things. They bounce around, and she had saved them, and they're gonna let them, Saturn Girl and the Legionnaires, stay there and protect their sick comrades while Supergirl fights Satan Girl. And you have Sun Boy, Bouncing Boy, and Lightning Lad trying to fight Satan Girl. And Supergirl's got this ray gun. Well, it's a gas of some sort, and the little bunchy things jump on them. And then the Legion, they distract her, and while the Legionnaires escape, and they go to the Planetoid. The world is a playground for the children of a fantastic race of supersized giants. To them, we are puny as ants. And it's these little kids play on these asteroids with their marionettes, creepy marionettes. And they just don't pay any attention to normal-sized people. And then Satan Girl shows up and starts attacking with kryptonite boulders. And the other Legionnaires are trying to protect their friends. And Lightning Lad leaves. He gets a kryptonite on him. And then he gets in a time sphere and just jumps around in time and brings the Legion of Super Pets, and they subdue Satan Girl, and she unmasks herself, and find out that she's her evil twin, and you see a flashback of how she did it. And it's a happy ending as she comes back in, and they save the costume as a trophy. This is a classic. It's not on the app, which is boo-boo. I don't understand that. This is such a classic story. I don't really get why it's not on the app. But it's a blast. It's beautiful. I mean, guys, it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I'd like to know your take on Curt Swan. My followers on Twitter and who listen, just let me know. Tweet something, send me a message. What you think of this comic. I really loved it. Enjoyed reading it. I had a rough day at work today. I didn't record Saturday because just a lot going on at work, and I was doing stuff and distracted, and I don't want to do something that, I'm not proud of or willing to put out there. And these little ones where I read it and then I talk about it, it's a joy, and I appreciate you guys are listening. That's a classic. We got another good one coming up. I'm still in the middle volume 2 archives. The next issue is 314. They're the cover story, and Joe Forte's back, and it's the super villains of all ages. And I remember this one. This is a great one. And more beautiful John Forte art. So check this out. I think I'm going to do a little episode tomorrow if I get a chance. I want to talk about a trade I've just read, or I'm almost done. If I finish it tonight, I'm going to talk about it. And since I didn't do a Saturday episode, maybe I can squeeze in a Wednesday. And don't forget, we have those Daring Defenders coming up, and it's the last part before we get to the Avengers Defenders War, which I'm excited about. But that's it for this week. I want to thank you again. If you have any comments, please reach out. You can find us at JSA4E. That is JSA, the number 4, the letter E, on Twitter. Or we are also on Instagram at Stop Let's Team Up. I have a recommendation. It is not a comic recommendation, but it is a recommendation nonetheless. I like to share what I'm doing or found that's cool. Victoria, my partner from Gallifrey's Most Wanted, told me about this app called Libby, Libby. It allows you to download or hold books from your local library, or you can get them either so you can read them on your Kindle, or as I do, I like audiobooks because I travel to work and I do pay. Sometimes I'm doing, I like to listen to something while I'm doing paperwork, because I'm not when I'm not on the phones at work. But I've used it, and I've gotten from my local library a book called The Five: The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Hallie Rubenfield. It is the story, well researched and well written and well read by it doesn't show me who's reading it, but she's doing a wonderful job, of the 5 women, and it tells their story, and it's not salacious that they were all prostitutes. Maybe it's a more factual. Here is this using the historical record about the lives of these women, and to give them a voice as something other than victims of a famous serial killer. And I'm finding it. I'm 2 hours and 25 minutes into a 10-hour book. I'm in like the 5th chapter. I've been listening to it most of the afternoon. It's absolutely amazing. I'm a history nut, and I like books like this that that look at not big picture but little picture, because sometimes that little picture, like how these women had to survive in not the best of times for humanity, or the England and London in a rough situation, and before they were victims of a famous killer, they had trials and tribulations and a life and a journey, and it's incredibly interesting, and I cannot recommend it enough. But folks, that's it for today. You all be good. Okay? Stay safe. Be smart. Be kind. And read some comics. And maybe listen to an audiobook about something historical. It's always good for the brain. All right. Bye.